you're through to one-way fighting with me, Neil Smith. And as ever, he's back after his week off. Did something happen on your week off, lad?
I got engaged, everyone.
No one's asked. No, congratulations, lad.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
What's your fella's name again?
Neil.
Quick. Nah, well done, mate. I knew there'd be someone who'd fall for it.
Yeah. Got it, mate. Got it now.
Yeah. So you got that out the way because you knew what was coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So, like, mate, this year, the UFC card this weekend's unbelievable, but McGregor and Poirier 3, I honestly, I've not looked forward to a fight. Even the Ngannou and Stipe, like, this fight is it's just got more to it. Like, I'm proper invested. Like, I'm intrigued to hear kind of like your thoughts on it. So we spoke about this, didn't we? A few months back, we had a little conversation about it, didn't we? We're kind of game plans, what's going to change and everything like that. So I'm just intrigued. The closer that we get, has your opinion kind of shifted? Are you leaning towards anyone? What's your thoughts?
So ridiculously so. I've done about 4 podcasts which have all specialised on this subject and said Dustin Poirier. And then I just watched UFC Countdown like 10 minutes ago.
I haven't seen it.
I feel like McGregor's going to win it based on a big hype video. Nothing to do with editing. I'm just like, I don't know if it's because I want him to now, although I like Dustin Poirier. But I don't know, when they showed the way he used to fight, he had that like sort of karate stance, legs far apart. And I was watching it back and I was thinking, yeah, with that stance, so he's wider, so his leg's going to be out. But he's not. He's in, out, in, out, in, out.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes he switches that stance up, goes from southpaw to orthodox. His movement, he's closer to the ground so much quicker than this static sort of closer. Like his legs are usually wider than sort of shoulder width. And this sort of shoulder width boxing sort of stance that he developed from the Mayweather onwards just doesn't do him justice. I think he's got to revert back to that because that's how he did Dustin Poirier the first time. I've got a feeling he is going to revert back to that. It's the old McGregor. And the other thing, Poirier's doing it himself, saying when someone trash talks you and you're not used to it, this, that, and the other. And in the second fight, they were like fucking part-time lovers, weren't they?
Yeah.
You should come in and just go, your mum's a C-U-N-T and your fucking dad left you. I don't know if that's true. Sorry, Dustin, if it is, don't hit me. But just like tell him loads of nasty shit. So and just,
I completely agree with you from the get go about McGregor. He needs to go back to what he was doing, where he's just light on his feet, in and out. He needs to be that because in that last fight, as you said, mate, he was so heavy on the lead leg, and then that's where the calf kicks come into play. So I feel with this fight, I feel this fight is going to be completely different. I feel, McGregor's going to he's going to come in kind of bouncy, in and out and everything. But I'm intrigued to see what Dustin Poirier comes with as well, because he's obviously going to be aware of it. He's going to kind of, and he trained the American top team, which is like,
is he though, because everybody's been saying he needs to go back to that. And do you think it's, the Khabib fight, he just thought, well, that's just Khabib? Or do you think he's then gone back to that sort of stance again, and then Donald Cerrone's just ran over him, he's lackluster because he's in his latter years, and he's thought, nah, it's not bad, this sort of stance and this style, it's still doing me. Khabib's Khabib, so carry on the way I am, and then gone and seen Dustin Poirier and he's took them kicks and just...
I think it depends on the actual fighter. So I think against Khabib, obviously he knew it was going to be a predominantly wrestling match, and I don't think McGregor feared Khabib when it came to the striking. I don't think he was ever worried about that. It was just the wrestling. I think against Dustin Poirier, he was. I kind of think he was underestimating him, to be honest. I think there was rumours of the Pacquiao fight, and I think he was looking through Dustin Poirier towards the Pacquiao fight. And I I think he kind of thought it was going to be a bit of a quick night, like it was against Cowboy. Just kind of, just
Poirier the first time.
Yeah, I felt like he just wasn't really that kind of worried about it. He just was like, yeah, this is easy. And then obviously that happened. So I think you're definitely going to see a different McGregor. I have been kind of good the same as you, really going back and forth. Going between
I've been proper.
I
don't see him beating Dustin. Don't see him beating Dustin. But all I'm doing is I'm remembering the last few fights. I mean, he looked comprehensive against Cerrone, but Cerrone's clearly in the latter stages. I mean, he's fought more than anyone. He's earned his warrior badge. You know, if he was a fucking Boy Scout, he'd have all the badges because he's just such a fucking beast. But unfortunately for him, he's 7-8 fights beaten now, and McGregor was second to last out of that. You know, he's just not able to do it anymore at his age. But I just still felt like Cerrone wasn't the top opponent he could have been fighting. It was a nice little break-in fight. I think Khabib broke his spirit a bit. I feel like his spirit wasn't proper going into that anyway. I just feel like his head's a bit elsewhere. But then I've seen it and I look back to the old McGregor, and it's only 10 minutes before this podcast that I've decided. So I've been Dustin Poirier for like the last 2-3 months. So I'm not jumping back and forth. I'm just fucking easily swayed by the fucking media, by the UFC countdown.
I get like that, mate. I remember we spoke about it on the last podcast, but when Anderson Silva fought Weidman for the second time, he did this promo and he was like, "I back, trust me, I back." I'm like, mate, it gives me like shivers. But it gives me shivers when I speak about it now because I'm like, it's mad how a promo video can generally just like affect you. But I think it's almost kind of like I think we all want McGregor to win. I think we should all be on the same page. I think if McGregor wins, mate, it's so much more fun because it's like, get in, he wins, he's going to get another fight, a high-level fight, he's still there. Like, you should want him to win, mate, because there's no one else that can generate this amount of, I say hype, but this amount of kind of passion where you're so invested in it. I mean, what other fights have been...
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. If he loses and he retires, we lose someone who's still ranked 5th or 6th out of the UFC, who should really be still providing entertaining fights. But because of the hype he's built, we're going to lose him because he always has to be on this title run, otherwise it's not worth it. I mean, look at Cerrone's a perfect example. Never been on a title run for fucking years, but we watch him every time. He's still headlines.
Yeah, I think it's just different, isn't it? It's like, I mean, Cerrone, to be fair to Cerrone, he doesn't have to fight. He's obviously made a lot of money. He's got his own ranch and all that. But I think it just depends what you're fighting for. I think McGregor, he's clearly not fighting for money. He's got the money. He fights it because he wants to do it. I just feel if he loses this fight, his star power it does diminish. And it's kind of like, where does he go next? I mean, okay, yeah, you get the rematch of Diaz, but it's just not going to get the same excitement. It's in my opinion, he needs to beat Dustin Poirier, needs to beat him to get back all the hype. You know what I mean? And then get back in there and fight for the belt again. No one's going to dispute him fighting for the belt. Me personally, I couldn't care less. I love watching him. Doesn't interest me. There's no one else that can generate his type of hype and passion. Like, you know, as an MMA fan, like, mate, he's just the best, I think, when it comes to that type of hype and, you know, energy.
Well, he was, and then it all got nicey. No, I'm a father now, and, you know, I don't want to be doing that now. I don't miss kids seeing me do that.
Yeah, but
I want him to go in with the attitude, like what they're doing with England at the minute. It's coming home. It's coming home to Ireland, to Dublin.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Needs that, the anger back and stuff. But I just think for them, he's kind of like, he's obviously in a happy place. Well, sorry, when he fought Dustin Poirier, he was in a happy place. You know, I think he just wasn't that bothered. I don't think he could actually fake that nastiness, that meanness. I just don't think he could have forced it. And as well, he was nice with Donald Cerrone, mate. They were like best mates. You know what I mean? The exact same as Poirier, and he goes out there and he finishes him. like what 90 seconds or something like that. So
The
I don't
thing
know. I
with
think
Poirier,
sorry.
the thing with Poirier is everyone looks at it as if he completely just outdid McGregor. They were having good exchanges, both of them,
Yeah, they
all
were.
the way through it. It wasn't one-sided in the first round. People are just sort of... Go on, sorry.
Well, sorry. Well, no, just what you just said then. Dustin Poirier said, didn't he? I think it was the Joe Rogan podcast that like he did wobble me. Like there were, he did rock me a few times, and I think Dustin Poirier needed that though because he needed to know, can I take this left hand, and he showed that he could. There's another thing as well where if we start to break it down, the power of Dustin Poirier. I don't think McGregor felt. I don't know. I don't think he was used to the power of Poirier. I think in his mind he just wasn't really thinking of that. But Poirier is a guy who is a good striker, but he's powerful as well. He's a proper lightweight as well now.
That's the difference.
I think that could play a factor.
That's the difference of being heavy on the lead foot, because remember the classic Aldo knockout, leaning back, and as they come back, it's the timing with that straight, and I feel like the left straight. I should be hitting with that. I feel like that's diminished his movements a little bit. It's diminished his distance management, and it wasn't so much. I mean, his power is there, obviously McGregor, but it was the fact he was catching them as they were coming in, and he's heavy on the lead foot now, which means he's throwing different, and I think that's half of where Poirier's able to take them. If Poirier was on the way in and he was stepping back and catching them, it's Poirier's coming into the punch as he's throwing as well. A lot of it was his timing. That was the power in his punches and catching them as they're coming in. So I feel like he's changing of the games. He could have maybe gone in there and done it in like 10, 20 seconds. You know what I mean? But he's just changed it just a little bit. But it's enough to just take the power away and the timing and the distance management.
But you can't dispute, though, the fact that Dustin Poirier moving up in weight, being in a weight class that he should have been in, it's definitely playing a factor in his conditioning. Like, he looked like the bigger guy there. In that fight, he looked like the bigger guy. A natural lightweight. Not someone who, like, tries to gain weight to be in that weight. Someone that is comfortably making that weight. Like, and I just think with the power, I just don't think McGregor was expecting it for Dustin to be the bigger guy, to be honest. So I think that might have played a factor in it as well, But these are things that like he's experienced now, so he knows going in. So this is what I'm kind of going back and forth on. Who's got the best game plan now going forward into this trilogy? And for a prediction, I struggle. Like I'm proper struggling, Like a part of me is thinking Dustin Poirier KO again, because you've seen him do it there. We know now he definitely can KO McGregor. Can McGregor KO him now at this weight class? I hope he can.
Yeah,
I hope he can.
Well, look at Alvarez. That was just so overwhelmingly convincing. And you'd seen Alvarez in wars with like Gaethje and stuff like that, where they were both wobbled a million times in 3 rounds. Alvarez could take a dig. It's just a difference in his approach. I just 100% think it's not a problem with his power. I think it's just how and where he's landing from.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, McGregor. Just to clarify, McGregor's definitely got the power, but it's just whether like he's fighting for it at lightweight. It's not featherweight. I just think it's a little bit different, and I don't know. I mean, as I said, he rocked him in his first fight, but you never seen him actually proper wobble, did you? You were just kind of taking Dustin Poirier for it to be.
Going up a weight class doesn't put muscle on your chin. It's just
helps your conditioning. It does. It helps your conditioning, definitely.
Yeah, it does to a degree, yeah. But I feel like there's not a problem there. You're forgetting that McGregor's going up slightly in weight and he looked skeletal at featherweight. I reckon he probably punches harder at lightweight than he does at feather. And I don't think Poirier puts on enough that he's invincible to any knockout punch. I just don't think of what McGregor threw, even though he might have wobbled them, none of them look like the big KOs that we'd seen before.
Yeah, I think definitely was the angle of it. I don't think he could actually land flush to land that power. But I'm just thinking, even if he does, I'm thinking, I don't know, like I feel like Dustin Poirier's confidence is definitely skyrocketed from that last fight. Just knowing that I can't take his left hand, I can't take it. I have proved it. So again,
that is the worry though, because we were saying, if he goes back to that old McGregor and he trash talks, is Poirier just going to be like, yeah, but I know I can beat So you say what you want to say, and it's not that he's just saying it to wind McGregor up; it's saying it because he believes it.
What was that? What was them tweets? So Conor McGregor put first one to shoot for the takedown as a dusty bitch. Did you see that?
No.
And then Dustin Poirier was like, "You sound a bit insecure there. Like, how about the first one to land the takedown as a dusty bitch and all that?" And then McGregor kind of went back and was like, listen, if you want a mixed martial arts fight, we're gonna have one. He's like, I'm not this kind of boxer that I'm now being labelled as. He's like, I can mix it all up, which he can do. We obviously can do. And I think he will in this fight. I generally think he will. I think he'll utilize his own kicks as well. Remember that second fight with Diaz? He came out and he was just landing a leg kick after leg kick.
Yeah.
You never know.
I think he should be, because if he's attacking with his kicks, his foot's off the floor constantly. He's creating distance. He's managing it. He always used to use that spinning back kick to the stomach, dead effective for slowing people down. Yeah. And if you take it to the sternum, the solar plexus, mate, you're done. Like, that can really do some damage.
Yeah.
I think as well he should be switching from orthodox to southpaw and be training that. And not necessarily, he's hit me leg 4 times, now I've got to go orthodox. I think he should be switching constantly just to keep Poirier guessing. Because if he's training down one leg kick, is he training it for both? I mean, I know he'll be able to throw it from both, but I just feel like it'll just mix it up a bit. It'll give him something else to think about. It's like that old head, hands, feet. The more things that are moving, the more you're thinking. The more I'm doing, the less you're doing. So I just feel like I think he should just come out completely different to the way he manages his distance and manages movement.
Do you think this is McGregor's biggest fight? Forget, including all the title fights and all that. Do you think this is the fight that matters most?
Yeah. I think I said this to you last time, didn't I? Khabib beat him, and that was a big sort of, ooh. I mean, Nate Diaz beat him, but he was a welterweight, 2 weight classes above what McGregor was really.
There was like an excuse there, wasn't there? Yeah, there's like an excuse.
Khabib is the ground game, which, while everybody says McGregor's not got a ground game, let's be honest, Edson Barboza went 2 rounds, was it? A BJJ black belt with Khabib. Chad Mendes, collegiate wrestler, he ended up beating in the 2nd or 3rd after being on the ground on his back, and he was throwing more from the ground than Mendes was from top. He showed some good takedown defense against Khabib. It's just no takedown defense is effective against Khabib. And I feel like, he does have that ground game and that, like.
100%, yeah, 100%. Oh, if you go watch his fight against Max Holloway, like he blows his knee out, doesn't he? I think it was his ACL. Still able to take Max Holloway down and all that. Even his last fight against Dustin Poirier, got taken down, but he got back up. Like, mate, McGregor's good on the ground. I think with McGregor on the ground, he knows what he's doing. He knows he's not going to, doesn't want to submit yet. He just wants to get back up to his feet. And I think he's good at doing that.
But Paul Semtex daily does that. He just concentrates on takedown defense. But the reason I was saying that, was he still has that excuse against Khabib that his thing is ground game. He took me out on the ground. He didn't knock me out. He did land a big punch, but I think that was because his hands were low to go for the sprawl and takedown defense. But with Dustin Poirier, he specialises in what McGregor specialises in. And there's no weight class advantage like what happened with Diaz. I just feel like if he loses this, then it's well, lightweight, you've won a belt at lightweight. You can't say that you're not a lightweight. You know, you won against Alvarez, who's the proof.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
No,
so there's no excuses. Yeah.
What can I ask you? Do you know that first fight? Can you remember watching it like live or like the first time that you watched it? What was your reaction when you seen Poirier finish McGregor?
About the second fight?
Second. I say first. The second.
I don't know. It wasn't one of surprise. I felt like McGregor had come back to fight Cerrone, who was just on such a downward spiral. And Cerrone was literally, I think, Dana White's so fucking thank you for the career you've given and fighting every other fucking week. We're going to give you McGregor. He's got a nice tune-up fight. And you've got your £1 million in your pocket to safely retire on, even if you have a few more fights. If you win it, well done you. But I think that was what happened with that fight. And I feel like that wasn't enough for him to really get off that ring rust. You know what I mean? Or the cage rust, whatever you want to call it. And then he's gone in to fight Poirier. And while I knew he'd beat him before, it was just a matter of, I wasn't surprised he lost because Poirier had just been going through everyone. I mean, some fucking wars as well. Poirier was not the same fighter, and a heavier weight looked so much bigger. You know, I just looked at it and I went, Poirier won. I didn't get upset or nothing like some people do. I just want to see a good fight. You know, I want McGregor to win, I think, but I wouldn't mind if Poirier won because I like him as well. I just got a feeling now, though, I haven't seen that really hyped up. You know what it is about that count? If you watch the countdown to UFC, they've made him out to be Mike Tyson.
I'm off Thursday. I'm going to watch it then.
Yeah, they made him out to be Mike Tyson because they do all the jail shots and all that. And it's like, doesn't matter if he's lost. He's like got the bad boy thing. You know, like what they did after he bit Holyfield's ear off and stuff like that. So they made him out to be the white Irish Mike Tyson. That's what they've done, and that appeals to me because I love Mike Tyson. Like, it's just like, yeah, go commit a crime, go to jail for a week, and then come out and fight. I'll be made up. And it was showing him throwing all the thing in the bus and that, and there in Rose and Emmy just going, "Oh, Khabib, help!"
Yeah, I don't know. I think
You're I can see it in your eyes. You're still Poirier, you can see in your eyes.
So, in my heart, mate, I want McGregor to win. I make no secret about it. Like, I want and I need McGregor to win because I don't want him to lose. I want him to win this, and I want him to keep going because, again, mate, there's no one else. There's no one else in the sport that can generate this. The last person that was able to do it, in my opinion, was Chael Sonnen. When Chael Sonnen, when he chatted all that shit and he got the fight with Anderson Silva and everything like that, I've never seen anything like it. To me, it was just like so exciting. And then to have McGregor, who, you know, I don't know what it is, mate. It's just that even like it is with Adesanya, you know, all these guys. I enjoy watching them fight, but they're just not McGregor. I don't know what it is. McGregor, he just captivates everyone, I think. But I feel like McGregor, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but this is just how I feel. It's almost kind of like you know him. Does that make sense when I say it?
Well, Scousers are like mostly Irish, aren't we? We're a bit of a melting pot bastard race. Scousers, like, you know, we're a bit of everyone.
My nan's Irish,
yeah, well, there's loads of that. Apparently, I'm like, my uncle did like something on that, you know, where they take your DNA and tell you where your ancestry is from. Yeah. Apparently, I'm like half Scandinavian on his side and half Irish. So
you get it, mate. You get it.
Viking,
Jamaican as well, yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, it's just the one member.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, mate. I feel with everyone's got some Irish in you, like. I don't know what, again, maybe it is the Irish little charm about them. I don't know, mate. But I'm saying there is no one else, and I don't care what anyone says, there's no one else in MMA that can generate as much hype as him. There's just none. And, you know, it's like when you see these, like, you see all the hardcore fans and everything like that trying to kind of, I feel like the hardcore fans...
They call you a casual.
Well, sorry.
They call you a casual if you like McGregor.
I feel like it's that type of weird, like, because mate, some of the hardcore fans I can't stand, to be honest, like, because they're just some of the comments just
fans. They're not fans. They're just idiots who can't accept the fucking Tito Ortiz doesn't fight anymore, or if he does, it's in Bellator and it's for 3 minutes. Otherwise, he has an asthma attack. That just look, if he's listening, you don't have to be a fan of his personality. You just have to be a fan of what he does in the cage. No one can tell me that he's not exciting in the cage. If you're an MMA fan, you don't have to want him to win. You just have to want to watch an exciting fight. The same with Khabib. Don't hate on him because you've got some problem with his personality. Shut your fucking mouth and just watch the fucking fight. Fucking gang of bitches, Poirier. Fucking bitches. And Ashley said that as well, so don't just beat me. It's true though. I look at the fight and I could nearly cry with laughter thinking, why are you on this at 4 a.m. doing an 18 fucking response argument with someone calling them McNuggets and fucking Khabibas and that? Just fucking grow up and shut up.
I can't stand seeing like comments on YouTube, Facebook, and all that. I can't, like, you know, on the any like MMA articles and stuff like that. I can't stand it because listen, like, MMA is the only sport that I proper love, to be honest. Like, you know, it's the only sport that I've ever kind of like took to. But and listen, like you said on the last podcast, like when we used to work in the solicitors together, mate, how like were the obsessed with I of like Anderson Silva. As you said, he used to come in and he used to, like, you know, do all of it. Mate, I love Anderson Silva, like him and Shogun, favourite fighters. But even, mate, I'm telling you, McGregor generates more hype than them combined. It's just, it's weird, mate. It's just, I said, if you're a fight fan, you should want McGregor to win this, definitely. And you know what, mate? I hope he does. But
yeah,
my
I
head,
mean, you don't have to necessarily want him to win. I don't think you have to want him to win. But I think we're not going to see him again, not very soon, if he doesn't. I think he'll do like a retirement for a year or two and then he'll be hitting 34 and he'll be like, shit, I've not got very long to retire and I've just spent 40 million on a fucking car. I'm going to have a fight.
I don't know. Honestly, mate, like, listen, if Dustin Poirier wins, same as the first fight, yeah, I like Dustin Poirier. But does Dustin Poirier fucking like make me talk like this? No. When Dustin Poirier fought Dan Hooker, was anyone speaking like this? Oh God, I can't wait. No, it wasn't like this. I'm tired. Like McGregor generates a hype that no one else can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do believe him. Sorry, mate, but I think we should all be honest and just be like, yeah, I think we need McGregor to win this. Just for literally, like, get his fucking status back up there, get Ireland all behind him again. Like, I want that kind of that same energy. Remember on a few podcasts, I told you like a little thing. I was like, crazy, finished work, got on the bus. And yeah, there was two Chavi girls. And the conversation, they were like, hey, who do you reckon's going to win Adam McGregor and Diaz? I was like, what the fuck is this? Actually, two like 14-year-old girls chatting about that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I want that. I want McGregor to be at that status again. Like, I want him to be back. That's what I want.
I mean, ask yourself this question: who replaces him, bringing in them numbers?
I say the closest one is probably. I say you got 3. The African trio. You've got your Usman, Ngannou, and Adesanya. I say them 3.
Not many. Out of them, Cameroon can afford the flight, mate, to Vegas. You know, how many of them are getting pay-per-view, or how many of them are sat around the bar with fucking 3 million of them just all watching the same telly? I'm not being nasty or making any sort of comment about their culture, but it's an economically depressed country where, you know, you will have some African following in the States, but
I think I know what you mean now. Sorry, did you mean
Ireland brings in a shitload of money in like buys, and the Irish fly over there and they buy up the tickets within a minute. I'm talking about who's going to replace them with the numbers of viewers and following.
Oh, right. So I was going to say, I think I missed what you said then, you know, yeah. I think I mistook that question. Yeah, so following wise, it's got to be your country and like where you're from. your Brazilians, but your Brazilians are diehard fans, mate. Amanda Nunes is the only. I think she's the only Brazilian champion at the moment, isn't she?
Although Amanda Nunes is boss,
Charles Oliveira.
Apart from MMA fans, do you think any non-MMA fans get drawn into it by watching Amanda Nunes?
How can you not, mate? Like,
especially male. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but if you're not an MMA fan and you're looking at it for the first time, you see Amanda Nunes win. How much? If you're an 18-year-old lad, you don't say, "I want to be Amanda Nunes." unless you're fluent.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
People, I'll be honest.
Or do they? Or do they? I watch it and go, "Wow, she's a fucking beast," but I still want to be Conor McGregor. I've never said that. Well, I don't want to be Conor McGregor personally. I'm too old and I don't say shit like that. Yeah. But you know what I mean? If I was like a 14, 15-year-old kid or something, that would be who I'd look up to. And not necessarily for his example, because that's not great, but just because he's winning and he's out there, he's crazy and that all that shit would have appealed to me.
I don't know, but I think that's a bit of a deeper conversation because if you're saying who, so if we take out gender, you say who a person looks up to, No,
but like inspires, entertains, and all that. You see, I'm a bit of a.
Like females are going to look up to females, and males are going to look up to males.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's
what I mean. But the numbers on female fans, I'm saying this, but I would assume is maybe a bit less because it seems to be. Well, it was for years a male-dominated sport, wasn't it?
Was, and then Ronda Rousey came and changed that. I thought. You see, it's quite hard for me to give an opinion on this because I'm talking subjective. I mean, Amanda Nunes and Shevchenko, they're one of my two favorite fighters. I could watch them all day. I look forward to when they fight.
By the way, I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. I'm asking you the question because I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the numbers like, but I think casual fans probably aren't the same fans that call Khabib boring. They just want to see stand and bang. They don't want to see grappling. They don't want to see point fighting or anything like that.
Yeah.
Probably not really interesting to watch the
cage wall.
Yeah, like I think for you casuals, probably. But then again, no, I'm sorry, but if you're a casual fan and you're watching Amanda Nunes fight, how can you not be excited when she's going out there and she's knocking girls out? Like, she's finishing fights, mate. Like, she's so good.
Do you buy the pay-per-view though? Do you buy the pay-per-view though? Because she doesn't have the same build-up or anything McGregor has. She doesn't have the same. This is what I'm saying. McGregor's the complete thing. You buy the pay-per-view, you've got all that interest and.
It's subjective though, because of it. So as England, we only pay for pretty much McGregor fights. This UFC this weekend, I'm pretty sure it's on box office, and that's just because of McGregor. I'll be honest, like I try not to pay for them only because I think it's fucking stupid. I mean, I already pay 30 quid a month for BT Sport. Like, I find it shit that I have to pay an extra 15 quid just to watch McGregor fight. But do I pay? Yeah, I do, to be honest. Like, yeah. What would I pay if it was Amanda Nunes? Yeah, I would. I generally would like, but that's me. That's subjective because I love watching a fight. Would she generate the same numbers as McGregor? Definitely not. Absolutely not. She just wouldn't. But I think to go back to the original point I think you were trying to make was like, who would generate them type of like viewings, them type of like fans, and I was just thinking of the Brazilian fans. They're proper hardcore, aren't they? And there's only two Brazilian champions, Charles Oliveira and Amanda Nunes. I mean, who else generates the same fans as McGregor? I can't think of any, to be honest.
No, and you've got your sort of like working class heroes, your Max Holloways. I mean, Cowboy was one of them. There's that band that sort of everybody roots for, wants to see headline because they just give it their all when they're in there and they just obliterate people. They've got a few losses maybe, but Some of them are controversial. Some of them are just hard fought and they just accept it. But again, Holloway's a bit of one because he's got his kid. You always see his kid, his son and stuff like that. Yeah. He's either in the crowd or he's doing something with him. And he does, just like when he did it with Ricardo Lamas, stand in the middle and bang now 10 seconds and just start throwing. Yeah. Like that shit's just unbelievable to watch. Kind of worried he's going to have brain damage. But you kind of feel like still that lead up to the fight doesn't get generated in anywhere near the same.
Oh, I completely, yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And this is what I was saying. You know, is he? Because I think Israel Adesanya, like, I think he's like right now. Would you say he's probably the most kind of
controversial? I think is the word for him. Because he says some random shit.
Yeah, and it's like I'll be honest. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean,
Darren Till is like if he'd have not had a few losses in the last few fights, the way he starts, I felt like he could have been, but he needs to bang out 2 or 3 wins now before he can get to that level again. And they've got to be against top competition. He needs to do something heavy in order to get to that level that he can start giving that banter before it. Because I think the other thing with him is McGregor does it in a very understandable way to the rest of the world. Darren Till's a scouser. He's putting memes up with fucking Karen hair saying he's Karen Till and stuff like that. He's got it in him, but sometimes you just got to hold back that little bit of scouts, not because you should be proud of it, but because after people don't understand what he's saying. Not like they can't understand his accent, they just don't understand the humour. Yeah.
So do you remember that interview that he gave? And some interviewer was saying about his kids. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't even care about him.
Yeah, he's like, I've got a kid. I've got 2 kids back home. I don't care. Remember that?
Yeah.
Got a kid in Brazil. Yeah. And it's like people were coming out and they were ripping him for it and stuff like that. And you had people defending him, saying like, no, he doesn't mean that and stuff. And it's like, be honest, he probably like, yeah, he probably. I got what he was saying. He was saying that basically nothing else matters but fighting.
Yeah.
But I obviously didn't explain it the best way. But I think with Darren Till, it's hard, isn't it? Because it's like Darren Till, he's from Liverpool, so everyone's going to get behind him from Liverpool. I mean, I'll always be grateful the fact that he brought UFC to the Echo. Yeah. Like that was one of the best nights ever. My first UFC event, and to be fair, you do have kind of Darren Till to thank for that. As long you do have obviously, you know, Molly McCann and Paddy who were generating the hype. But Darren Till was your guy that was in the UFC, was in that position to get that fight against Wonderboy, and he got the fight to Liverpool.
Not the first scouts either. You must have about 8 scouts that have been in the UFC by now.
Yeah, you got Terry Etten, Paul
Sass, Andy Ogle, Jason Tan, Paul Thingy.
He's from Liverpool. Andy Ogle.
Andy Ogle, yeah. He fought out at Cabon. He's a prison officer now, I think.
Is he? Yeah. I think I do actually remember him. He got submitted against.
He was a banger. He was good. He was good.
Yeah, I remember him.
Sometimes just doesn't go your way.
Didn't know he was from Liverpool. Like, yeah, me, Bob Marley got Chris Fishgold. But yeah, there's quite a few from Liverpool, mate. Yeah.
There's a couple of, I can't think of the name now. There's loads. And then you think the Ultimate Fighter had Dave Faulkner on it and stuff like that. Mate, sometimes they put down Bisping from Liverpool, even though he's from like, is it Chorley? Is he from or somewhere? Salford or something?
It's like outskirts.
Or something.
It's outskirts of Manchester. It's like outskirts of Manchester.
I think it's like Lancashire in between, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it begins with C. I can't think. But they sometimes put him down as that. He's not. But the Northwest in general, lads.
Yeah. Made some big names, like, definitely. I don't know how we got into this conversation. I'm trying to think. How did we get onto this?
Darren Till being a potential to pick up with. I just feel like maybe he's got a few losses now and people won't back it in the same manner in terms of numbers. But if he has 3 straight knockout victories and manages to do a title, I think he could.
Yeah, I think what's good about Darren Silver's, mate, like it is a sense of humor that people love on social media, and he is funny, like he is funny. Um, but I don't know. I think with Darren Till, it's like, yeah, the losses have obviously kind of
Slowed them.
diminished. That, yeah, they've definitely slowed him down and stuff. And I'll be honest, but even his performances, his win against Kelvin Gastelum wasn't the most exciting. He's quite hesitant, Darren Till, isn't he? I found him to be a little bit of a hesitant fighter.
Yeah, that
Really
Stephen Thompson fight was like a bit of a chess match, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which you wouldn't think it if you were live. Like, honestly, mate, it was like, so watching it, it was I don't know why, but it was one of the most exciting fights live. It was just, everyone was cheering and everything like that. And all you remember is the fifth round where he dropped them. And like, my girlfriend, she watched it on TV and she was literally like, it was like watching paint dry. Nothing happened. And I was literally like, really? And then I watched it, honestly, mate, I watched it back and I literally like, I'm going to fall asleep. I was literally just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, it's so weird though when you're there live and the crowd's all going and everything. It's like, couldn't be a judge. I couldn't be a judge, mate.
Nah. Ngannou's got a possibility, but he doesn't really say much. He's had like one interview in 3 or 4 fights. And I get the feeling his manager keeps... It's what?
What's happening with Ngannou though? Like, I was baffled, mate. I woke up and I seen an interim fight between Cyril Gane and Derek Lewis, and I was like, why?
Derek Lewis is one I'd love to see just stone wild. What's up? Why are you taking your shirt off, Derek? My balls are hot.
Yeah, great. I want Derek Lewis to win that fight, but I don't know if he will. I think Cyril Gane, he looks good, Cyril Gane, mate. He's just that athletic, isn't he? For the heavyweight. Harder than big shots.
Don't see him beating Ngannou though. Ngannou.
I don't know. Maybe get a boring decision. Just literally stay away from them big shots. Just land your jab, land your leg kick, and just stay away for 5 rounds. It's easier said than done.
You look at someone who's technically gifted like Alistair Overeem and just fucking got his head shot off. And that was when he was throwing wild.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Like,
Cyril Gane, I think, I'll be honest, the fight that I want to see, it is actually Ngannou and Derek Lewis. I want to see that fight, really. Like, that's the fight that I want to see. So I was a bit annoyed that it got swapped and everything like that, and I don't really understand why. Like, Ngannou couldn't make the fight or something, couldn't make the schedule. Is that why?
It's to do with his manager, mate. I don't know, but I mean, we'll get on to that one when it happens. But
yeah.
So you're saying Poirier for this one, are you?
Sorry, but yeah, just to give my prediction. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna follow my heart here. I don't care if I'm actually gonna go McGregor, mate. It's a win-win. Fucking, if McGregor wins, then I'm gonna be made up and my prediction's gonna be right. So fuck it, I'm going McGregor.
Right. KO, so for 2 or 3 weeks we've been talking about this fight. We've both said Poirier. We've seen absolutely fuck all except clips from old fights, put to music, things we already knew, and we're both saying McGregor.
It's for me. You got me hyped up because you've watched this promo video, like, and I don't know, mate. I'll be honest. I've kind of hyped them up myself now, giving me a little passionate speech and all that. Fuck, I'm gonna say McGregor. I want him to win, mate. I think he. Yeah. I fucking hope he does. I hope he.
You know what? I'm saying McGregor. I think it would be hard here. I think I'm going to regret that decision when the fight comes.
Yeah. Always follow your heart, mate. Always follow your heart. You can never be wrong.
Yeah. Well, look, guys. You're probably just going to be commenting saying you can't keep your fucking mind in one place because we've just changed it. So don't bother commenting if that's what you're going to say. We've already said it for you. But other than that, drop your comments. Let us know what you think. Ashley's got to go watch Love Island. He said 9 o'clock. It's Love Island, and we're a minute past, so he's missed the music.
Guys, if you want me to start a one-way Love Island, let me know.
I already have with me bird, lads. You can come in on it if you want.
100%, mate. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, guys, as well as One Way Football and One Way Fighting, where you should be subscribing, we have One Way or Another, which is just a broad spectrum of shit. I've got James, who does the One Way Football, doing a weekly podcast with me. Ashley might do it at some point if he wants to talk about anything. He obviously wants to do Love Island. I've got my Beard Roxanne on here, who's a fucking lunatic, and she will see this, but she knows I say it. I've got another little segment, The Struggle of Educating Neill, where I'm doing something with me old RE teacher who couldn't fucking handle me in school, and I debate things with him, but that's quite serious because he wouldn't come on it if it was just me saying shit about people who are, you know, whatever it is we're talking about. So it is quite serious, that one, but that's only on once every 2 weeks. The rest of it is all just fun and games and us calling people fucking dickheads. So yeah, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you around the block soon.